Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a compilation of eyebrow tutorials that will help you and guide you on perfecting your brows and make your eyebrow game strong. Finding the right color for your eyebrows can be really tricky as you want your brows to look natural yet still defined. Picking the wrong shade can make your brows look too dark or too obviously colored in. When choosing the right color, make sure it complements not only your hair, but also your skin tone. When picking out a color, always make sure that it matches to the root of the hair that's on your head. Once you find the right color, it's much more easier to do your brows so that you can look pretty and stand out. Select a shade that is 1 to 2 shades lighter than your natural hair if you have brown or black hair. This will ensure that your eyebrow color looks natural and not too dark on your brows. The oils on your face can also tend to make your products look darker. So going for 1 to 2 shades lighter than your natural hair will ensure it's not harsh. You can start with 1 shade lighter and then change to a darker if you need to. Play around with both of the shades and see what you like. You can also use the lighter shade in front of your brows and the darker color on the outer arch and tail part of your brows. This will give an ombre effect, making your brows much more natural. If you use one dark color throughout your brows, it will make your eyebrows look really harsh and ultimately your face look harsher as well. If you have lighter hair, go for a darker shade so your brows can stand out on your face. For example, if you have blonde hair, go for 1 to 2 shades darker than your natural hair. The color you choose should be light enough to make your brows look natural, but dark enough to give your brows some definition. If you want more definition, then you can choose one darker shade than the dark color you had chosen previously. But apply this darker shade only in the outer third of your brows so your brows don't look boxy and harsh. Choose a taupe color if you have blonde hair. You can also use taupe if you have more ashy brown or ashy blonde hair. If you have brown hair or light hair with blonde highlights, you can also choose taupe shade. Go for a soft brown if you have dark brown or black hair. Make sure to start with a lighter shade so your brows look natural. If you have darker hair like dark brown or black hair, go for a dark brown shade for your brows. Try to avoid black color because not only will it make your brows look darker and your face look harsher, but it can also make your face look gray as well because the product will turn gray on your skin. When you are in doubt, choose a darker brown to be on the safe side. If you naturally have darker brows, applying too lighter of a color can also take away from your natural vibe that you are going for. You don't want people to notice you have your brows filled in. So you might be able to get away with a black color and a black shade or a black product for your brows if you naturally have dark hair on your brows or black hair on your brows. Just make sure to brush out with the spoolie to get rid of any harsh edges and blend them out for a more natural, effortless look. If you have red hair, go for a blonde color for your brows to complement the red tones in your hair. Lighter shade of blonde in the brows is better as the eyebrow hair for redheads tends to be very light.
Here with me today for the Ultra Slim Brow Pencils. I've got a lighter one that is 255 soft brown and a darker one which is 260 deep brown. Now the reason I have 2 of these ones is because I like to do lighter on the inner bit and darker on the outer bit. So a little guide for where to fill in your brows. You can literally use your brow pencils to actually show where to end them, where to do the arch. So grab your pencil, look straight into a mirror, go to the side of your nose and go straight upwards. That is where the brow should end, just here. See that? Now take your pencil, go to the side of your nose and go straight through your pupil while looking into a mirror. That is where the arch should be, just here. And then for the ends of your brows, again, the side of your nose and straight through the bottom bit of your eye here. And that is where the end should be. Now for the shape, you really want to stick around the size that your eyebrows are, unless you do like to thicken them up a little bit. I like to kind of shape around where the hairs actually end on my brows. You can see they're quite sparse around the edges here, so I only do go over where the hairs actually finish and give an arch here. But this bit here, up to there, should be one size. From there onwards, it's gonna go thinner and thinner to the end here. So that's a little bit of brow knowledge for how I like to do them. Okay, first let's go in with the lighter shade. We're going to be doing light hair strokes upwards to the side and kind of just define around that area. Okay, so brow strokes upwards. I'm just going to fill in any of the gaps, create some shape, and go around that line where you can see my hair's naturally going to. I really do like the saying, brows should be sisters, not twins, because mine are definitely not twins. Now grab the other end of your brush, which is the spoolie, and you're just gonna go in and buff that out a little bit so the pencil doesn't look that harsh or dark. So the light color is done, let's move on to the darker color. I'm going to be going from around where I stopped, and I'm gonna fill out those edges. I'm not gonna do it too dark, and then I'm going to elongate it a little bit. You can see those are a little bit too dark, a little bit too defined. So again, grab your spoolie, go over it and soften it out. If you do need to go in for any other parts of your brows and just kind of soften it out a little bit but still create a little bit of color, the Brow Precise pencil is really good for that one. You can really easily just go over the whole brow and just make it that little bit darker. Now to define your brows a little bit more, or clean them up if you like to, I like to use my Fit Me concealer. This is in the shade 20. I'm just gonna pop a little bit on the back of my hand, get a tiny bit of product on the brush, and then I'm going to be mapping out the edges of my brows with this. Once the concealer is on, you can use your finger just to blend that down a little bit and blend into the skin. If you do like to have a bit more of a defined look on the top of the brows, you can definitely shape around there, but I don't really want to do that today, so I'm just going to leave them looking a little bit more natural. So I just finished my brows off with a little bit of brow gel. You can even just use the back of your spoolie to just brush the brow hairs upwards and to the side. It always makes them look a bit more floppier and a bit more natural if there's a lot of product through your brow. Okay, so this is the brow look done. I really hope you enjoyed watching how I do my brows. I hope you've learned a little bit as well how to shape them. Please remember to subscribe and comment and like. You know what to do.
Today I'm going to show you how I easily fill in my brows for a natural finish. Let's just start off with a little bit of basic eyebrow shaping. It looks more complicated than it is. The start point, you just want to use the dimple of your nose. For the end, use your nose again and the edge of your eye. Moisturizer actually gives your product something to hold on to, so it's a very important step, no matter what makeup you're applying. I then apply a sheer layer of foundation or concealer, and I actually blend this over the brow area. This is to make sure that the area underneath the brows is the same color as my skin tone. I'm buffing this in. For the perfect eyebrow products, I like to just mix up some gel with an eyeshadow, and I mix the two of them up onto a palette. And I simply mix up the right eyeshadow color to work with my hair at that time, whether I need to go darker or lighter. Taking a little bit of the mixture on a spoolie, clear mascara wand, I then just brush this through my brows to kind of create the shape that I want to form, usually brushing upwards and outwards. Taking our mixture onto an angled brush, I like to very slightly glide and wipe this down onto the palette to make sure my brush is nice and sharp. And I do this regularly throughout the application. It gives you a lot more control over the actual brush itself. To find the starting point of my application, I look straight on in the mirror and I create an imaginary line using the edge of my iris. So I start here and blend outwards. And all I do is use a little bit of that product working in the direction of the hairs that are naturally there, using feather-like strokes as I work along. And I focus on filling in this area with the most concentration of color. I want it to be getting deeper and darker as I work towards the edge. For the inner portion of the brows, I do things a little differently. I use very light strokes working in the direction of the hair growth, using less product this time and not being as dark. And I really only do a few little hairs as I work along, making sure they follow the natural hair pattern underneath. I then turn the brush slightly on its side, and I use this to catch and coat any of the natural hairs that are there. This will just slightly tint them with the gel. Use a very light hand when you're working on this intersection. You should still be able to see a little bit of the skin showing through. And then finish by combing through the brows. If your gel has set, which can happen, make sure not to overwork the brows as you may ruin the shape that you've created. Finish off with your regular foundation, concealer, whatever you want to use, but just be a little bit more careful when working around the brows. And when using powder, make sure your brows have set, otherwise the gel will hold on to it. And there you go, that is how I simply fill in my eyebrows. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, check out the other videos on the screen, and hit that subscribe button if you're new.